Hi, my name is Vipin Malhotra. I look after the telecom business of Arvind, based at Ahmedabad. We moved to Pune in '92, and this is actually the first house that we've engaged an interior designer for. We had a house earlier, which we did ourselves. I'm very fond of music, fond of traveling, and also fond of watching Bollywood movies again and again.
Hi, I'm Radhika. I think I'm a student of life. I love books, I'm passionate about food, clothes, and basically I enjoy and celebrate life.
Yeah, so when we were looking around for an interior designer, we also saw a lot of her work and looked at the quality and the aesthetics of various projects that she had done. And we really liked what she did, and she had a lot of clarity about how she would like to go about the job, which also resonated with our requirements. So that's really how we ended up working together. I think most of the requirements speccing was done by Radhika. Second, that Ekta did a very good job in terms of understanding the requirements of each stakeholder. So whether it was me, whether it was Radhika, whether it was my parents, or whether it was my younger son, she actually made it a point to meet everyone, understand what they really wanted. And in her discussion with them, she also outlined various options that were available to them, which really helped them clarify their own requirements much better.
I think Ekta realized when she met us that I would need a lot of space for my wardrobes and for storage. So she has delivered 100% on that. And it's, and it doesn't look cluttered. There's a lot of space. It's very aesthetic. And there's a space, I would say, a place for everything in my house. It's no longer just haphazard. So really, I enjoy that. Living in this house,
this house, she also made sure that we created a lot of space for additional wardrobes in our master bedroom, created more space in the kitchen, right, than what was available earlier. And of course, as Radhika said, a lot of space, wardrobe space.
Yeah, and very painstakingly she came with us to choose each and everything, and she was there with us every step of the way, which was fantastic. Wherever we traveled, she was there with us to guide, and if she felt that we are not choosing the right thing, very tactfully she would, mention that maybe you could look at this.
She would nudge us away from wherever it was going to conflict with the aesthetic or the design. And one thing personally that I'm very happy about is that the ratio of my wardrobe to my wife's wardrobe is a lot better in this house than it was in our previous house. We had very specific requirements, we wanted a large bookcase, for example.
We needed a good library, bar, storage,
sideboard,
and kitchen. Yeah, everything. I don't know how to.
And I think more than that, we wanted something very different from what we had in our previous house. So because the area in this flat was almost double of what we had, so we wanted to make sure that we don't have any clutter, yet all our requirements in terms of furniture, in terms of the variety of furniture that we wanted to have. One specific requirement that I had was that it must accommodate a grand piano. So that was a very key requirement from my side, which was very successfully met with.
More than adequate.
That was a very long journey, courtesy of the pandemic. And there's many waves that we had in the pandemic. And before we started, we didn't have any idea of what kind of effort it's going to take, trying to finalize furniture for each living space, whether it was the living room, dining room, library area, bedrooms, light fittings, right? Artifacts. I think in every selection that we made, there was a humongous choice that was there before us, and Ekta helped us wade through all those choices and options, and finally, you see the outcome of where we are today. So very sharp choices were made for every room, and what is good is that every room has turned out to be very distinctive in its own personality, and that actually follows the personality of the occupants, or you can say the requirements of the occupants. I think one thing which really is very appreciable about Ekta is the amount of time that she gave to each one of us in helping us come to the final decision of really what should be where. And so many things are involved. There's color, there is style, there is aesthetic, everything. Whether it was furniture, whether it was curtains, whether it was lighting, whether it was switches. I think, and there were a lot of pleasant surprises for me personally. So one was, initially I thought that it's a way, wasted expense. Why do you want to change the cabling of the entire house, electrical cabling? But I think it was a very good decision, because for long-term safety, it's very important that you have the right configuration of cables. Same thing with false ceiling and lighting. I think the amount of options that we have for lighting is not something that we could have imagined.
We would never have known.
Yeah. So.
And one thing I want to add here, she gave a lot of positive energy to the house, to us, and it's like you can see it. You can see it in the house. It's a very high frequency house with a lot of positive energy.
So very patient. I haven't seen, in fact, I haven't seen Ekta lose her cool ever, at least with me. With her vendors maybe, but not with me, anytime. In fact, on the contrary, there were many times where I lost my cool, but I think Ekta was always very calm, very composed, and she really handled the whole thing very well. Whether it was through my wife, or she made sure that her choices were accepted finally with a lot of happiness. No prizes for guessing that. I think so. The reactions varied from wow, super, stunning, beautiful, outstanding. I think everyone who's visited the house, they have just been amazed to see the way it has come out.
Yeah, and they all said that it reflects our personality. So she was able to gauge that and get that done. And the use of space. Now Chandrama came in and she says, the amount of space, the whole, her first word was stunning, and then she says, excellent use of space. So each one has appreciated. Of course, we are very, very happy, but so are our friends and family.
A shining example of that space is the mandir, right? So it's very little space, but very, very nicely done, very differently done. Every element in the mandir has its own personality. Whether it's the backdrop, whether it's the bells, whether it's the material used or lighting. So everything is, reinforcing. All elements are reinforcing each other.
My favorite part is the corner, the niche in my bedroom, where I have that lamp and my Buddha, where I do my chanting. It gives me a lot of solace and peace. And it's, I think in the back there's the wallpaper, which just kind of blends in the whole place. Then another place which I love is in the evening when I come and sit over here, just put on the table lamps and sit and maybe read or listen to music. That's another place. And another very good thing, which is very unusual, what happened is where our placing of the Buddhas. We didn't know that it would be like this, but in the morning when we get up, the early morning sun rests on each one of my buddhas. And even the sit out is beautiful. So I mean, I have my favorite spots all over the house at different times of the day.
I think her favorite place is the entire house, because she told me that now she does not feel like stepping out because she's so happy and comfortable in the house that there is no longer a need to go out of the house.
Yeah.
I mean, you could hardly find Radhika in the house in our previous place. But everything has changed. So that is, I think, the most befitting compliment to the work that Ekta has done.
Even Ishan, my son,
Yeah.
we were talking, so he says, I don't feel like leaving the house because my room is so comfortable and it's it's just what I wanted.
He's having second thoughts about going to Canada.
No, not Canada, but going to Bangalore too. He wants to work from home because he said, I can't get a more comfortable place to stay in.
And I think since we have moved, I think virtually 70-80% of the days, Ishan has been having one or the other friend over.
Yeah, that room is the adda for him and his friends.
And what is added to that is that in two of the rooms we have a home theater like sound, so that adds to the whole ambience, and it's like a magnet.
And even a sit out outside the Buddhas, the lighting, each thing is just beautiful.
My favorite place, you guys to try it. It's the bar. It's a favorite place for many reasons. So I think first time it was suggested to me by Ekta to use the onyx background. It was I really flew off the handle looking at the cost. So we had a big fight over that, and finally I think Ekta managed to optimize the size of the sheet and managed to bring it, I won't say within the budget, but close enough to the budget for me to say yes. Actually, if I had seen it somewhere else and not in my house, later I would have really regretted my decision. But thank God it wasn't so, and it really came about in this place. So the bar really looks beautiful with the onyx backdrop. And bar is an important place for me because it has all my collection of single malts, so I really enjoy sitting there. Secondly, I would say is the terrace. It's beautiful with all the plants, the Buddha, the lighting that has been done. So if you sit here in the morning, we can watch the sunrise from the balcony with all this backdrop, and in the evening, the lighting makes all that, makes it even more beautiful. And I think every place in the house has its, has its own merit. So I think no matter wherever you go. So.
And even in the kitchen, there's enough storage, and there's those 3 parts which you've given, Ekta, which are really very useful, and it doesn't look cluttered. So I really enjoy that.
I think Ekta has been the best thing to happen to us in our journey of building our new house. So both myself and Radhika, we are absolutely thrilled with the outcome of Ekta's work. Not only do we see her exemplary creativity in making spaces functional, safe, beautiful, and elegant, but Ekta's attention to detail is really legendary. Her style of nudging clients to go for the best quality. In fact, it starts with a Louis Vuitton and then slowly comes down, right? Unparalleled. Her ice-cool, easy personality and demeanor, it's really unusual and calming. And I've never seen Ekta really upset with me anytime, though the reverse is not necessarily true. And with her penchant for aesthetic perfection, it really sets her apart as an interior designer of rare eminence, talent and repute. So I believe that her clients like us are very fortunate to have Ekta as a partner when they want to build their dream house. That's what I'd like to say about it.
I'd really like to thank you, Ekta, for building our dream house and helping us through the journey holding our hands through the whole process.
Holding, sometimes pushing.
No, I wouldn't say pushing, but nudging us.